Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It is another episode of the F125 Booty Radio My Team Career Mode Series. Headed to round 6 of Season 2, and we are back in Miami for another sprint weekend. So the one practice is out of the way. We've got sprint qualifying, the sprint qualifying, and the race coming up. Weather-wise, it looks like the only rain that we're going to get is going to be in the qualifying session for the Grand Prix. So it should be pretty straightforward for the sprint portion of the weekend. The race, we will see. We are still kind of looking for a good weekend to take our strategic penalty to get an extra set of power unit components in the pool just in case. So if we don't qualify very well in the Grand Prix, it'll be a good opportunity to take that extra bit. We will, let's go ahead. Yeah, 47%. We'll get that MGUH off the way. Energy store we're definitely going to need because we're starting to run that up as well. 44 is close enough that we need to make the change. Of course, coming off of the results of a pretty decent race in Saudi Arabia, we managed to pick up a P5 finish and grab a decent haul of points to get us to 9th in the Drivers' Championship and 5th in the Constructors. Unfortunately, Joshua Pierce had a DNF on the 24th of 25 laps and was running in P9 when it happened. So some missed opportunities for him there, but let's see if we can't get it back this weekend around one of the home races.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
All right, here we go. As usual in the sprint weekend, we are on a set of medium tires first to get that sort of banker slash cider lap in. So let's take a quick, hopefully relatively rapid tour of the Miami circuit. Down towards turn 1, looking for this left bit of curbing is kind of the breaking point. A little deep on the brakes there. It cost us a little bit of time as we unwind ourselves through that left-right combination. Now we get this little bit of S's. Pitch it in. The curbs are a lot flatter now through portions of this circuit, so we can use them a little bit more aggressively. The real tricky combination left-hander where you're really braking and turning quite a bit. And now a big full throttle section. A couple little weaves here and there, but it's all about letting the engine eat. Hard on the brakes into this hairpin, and now for this tricky little stadium style section, hold that right hand, trace it out, and then get up this hill. Take as much curb as you can on that first one. Don't let the high curbs of these next two corners unsettle you too much. All about getting on the power well as you crest that little hill. The back end loves to step out on you. And open the DRS and get ready to find your braking point. Should be right about the 150 meter mark. Maybe just a hair after it might be better once we get to those soft tires. But it is a banker lap. We don't want to gamble too much. We blast across the line for the last little bit with the DRS open. 26.569 is a decent lap on a set of medium tires. We'll find quite a bit of lap time when we go to the softs at the end. So here we go for run number 2. We've managed to put in a relatively modest P17 provisionally on the medium tires. So we've got something to work from on the softs. So let's see if we can't find a bit of time and give ourselves a good opportunity at some sprint points today. Ooh, a little late on the brakes. And a big snap of oversteer on the throttle there. So that's a huge loss of time. Almost 2/10 dropped already. Do find a bit of that time back through the twistier bits. We do have quite a bit of work to do. We gave up quite a lot in that first sector. Another couple of tenths found. Can we nail the braking zone here? We'll go right about there. Teeny bit deep. I think better than our last turn. Yeah, we are going to find about 6 tenths. 6.5. Does keep us only P12 though, so some work to be done in the sprint if we want to get to P8 for points.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
We actually ended up only going just about a tenth faster than our teammates, so we're still beating Joshua in the head-to-head. Also, maybe we just don't have it in the car this weekend. We're behind both of the Williams today, so definitely some work to go. To do.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Ayrton Senna completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Piastri, Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, and Fernando Alonso, Albon, Martins, Joshua Pierce, and Gasly, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Esteban Ocon, Hadja, Behrman, Stroll, and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
We're not in the best position to get another points finish, so try and use the first lap to your advantage and make up places.
Alright, as we hear, lots of work to do. I mean, tire wear is basically what is expected. Let's see, what do we need as far as fuel levels? 177, so for a 10 lap race we'll need 17 point. Let's put 17.8. Medium tire it is. I'm gonna guess that's what everybody's gonna be running, but let's get after it. Here we are on the grid. The 5 red lights are up. Decently long hold, quite a bit of wheel spin off the line, so that is going to cost us as far as if we're trying to make overtakes. Ooh, up on the curb has unsettled the car a bit. We are able to still get past Albin. I think he had to make a business decision based on our big swapper. Only 10 laps in the sprint, so we got to get ourselves up to speed quickly. Allegedly, the AI has had their straight line speed tuned a little bit, their behavior on exit, so we'll have to see. Let's stay up the inside of him. That should allow us to take that position back. So the patch would have been effective for the Saudi Arabia race as well. In theory, they've tuned the AI to be a little better under the brakes and a little less good on traction. Miami was one of the real culprits of the aggressive straight line speed from the AI, so we'll see how it behaves today. Alonso and Tsunoda getting themselves sorted out ahead of us. seems okay. Not quite as bad as it might have been in the past. A little brush to the wall there, that's fine. See if we can't find ourselves a little bit of space in this train. Deep on the hairpin, but we managed to get the car rotated. And we're up now just 2 spots off of the points. We essentially, being able to see a points paying position is very nice. However, that did cost us a lot of battery power to get there, so let's make sure we can try and close up. In fact, it might turn to be difficult if Sainz loses touch with Tsunoda ahead, which he has done. So we're going to burn a lot of battery here. Go around the outside of the second Williams that we fought with today. 1.6 the margin to Tsunoda. Rear tires 3 laps in, already feeling pretty bad. Does not bode well for the Grand Prix. Let's settle into this line for a couple of laps, get the battery up. Yeah, loss of grip in that right rear tire is a real pain for that left-hand combination to getting on the power here. Had to leave a space for the car on the inside. I was having a look. That wasn't a very good one. I think I managed to just clip the tire into the wall and not the front wing. Well, maybe the front wing's a little damaged. All right, at this point, we're miles away from scoring points in this, so I'm not too worried about anything here. In fact, big lockup on the way. We're just trying to feel out how, at this stage, the medium tires will even behave in a longer stint. Considering how bad they felt after like 3 laps, I think this is a definite 2-stopper. I don't have any rear traction. Yeah, AI is still real good at exits. Oh yeah. Having nothing left in that right rear tire means that that little chicane is just impossible to navigate now.
Okay, I've got some information on Senna. They're retiring from the race.
Getting ready to start the final lap. We've fallen back now to 12th. Rear tire wear has been real painful in this race. This really made it impossible for us to push and keep up. You know, tires really strained through there. Fuel-wise, we're good, so that's good to take into the race, but Grand Prix is going to be, without a doubt, a 2-stop type situation. And I just can't get off the corner the way that that my opponents are, with how fast my rear tires have gone directly in the garbage can. And who knows, maybe Williams and Alpine have taken big steps, brought big upgrades the last week, and we've actually slipped down the performance chart, but I don't know. Outright pace, I'm feeling like we're decent. It's just that rear tire traction has just been painful for this sprint. Not enough battery to do any kind of attack at the end here, so let's just bring it home nice and easy. We're going to find ourselves in P12, so a ways off the points. The Aston Martin even took off that we were holding back behind pretty early on. So it's now looking encouraging for the Grand Prix, especially with a wet qualifying.
So with the sprint concluded, join us next time for qualifying. And of course, the main event, this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. We'll see you next time.
George Russell from pole position takes the win. Verstappen moved up a couple spots. Leclerc on the charge in that Ferrari that's looking very strong. Where did our teammate end up? Joshua dropped several places, so not ideal for him. What does that do for the championship? George Russell still up front. A 12-point advantage, growing that lead over Max Verstappen, who had got it pretty close in the last couple of races. Lando still trying to work his way back from his bad luck at the start of this season.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
Well, it's raining with a fair bit of gusto. It's supposed to lighten up as the session goes on. But it's like almost raining hard enough for wet tires and not inters, I think. But we're out on inters. It should be calming down a little bit. As we are well wide of there. Problem is, the track is so reflective right now that it's actually real hard to see where the track even is. Trying to push where I can. And get something competitive on the board. All right, bringing it around for another attempt. Got the battery recharge. This invalid lap will fall off the record as soon as we cross the start-finish line. We're on for some decent improvements. As the track is definitely improving. I think this is almost certainly going to be one of those situations where the last car to start a lap is going to be at the biggest advantage. We nearly lost the track again as we understeered out wide. But you can see even a poor run through that first sector, we found over a second. The track is definitely speeding up. A little wide. Rear grip is still pretty bad. We find 2 seconds roughly and go up quite a bit faster. Senna does, though, improve significantly. I think we're a couple of seconds off him now. Well, let's bring this car back to the pits, get some fresh tires, and get ready to go for our last runs. Well, the track is significantly more dry looking as we get ready for our last runs. We should be able to go, I want to say push. Maybe if we time it right, we can go push, cool push, and get like one of the last starting lap times. So let's get a good banker in first, though. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and the AI will do that thing where it doesn't come out for their final laps in a drying session. Although, we were barely keeping it on circuit there, so this is not going to be a great lap time. Or at least there'll be plenty of opportunity to improve. There's only one other car on track, one of the Red Bulls. But you can see the track condition improvements. We're already nearly 2 seconds up on our best time. Already now over 2 seconds. Clock is at 4:23, so we will be able to do a cool down lap. Or we just go 3 pushes and we see what we get out of it. Okay, everybody also starting their final flying laps of the session. Big improvement in the first sector. We should actually be able to get another lap in. It's just a matter of if we're going to have the tires and the battery to make it worthwhile. And the rain has actually stopped falling entirely, which means we are going to want to do another lap because we're going to have DRS to help. Joshua managed to put himself 8th, so a good result for the lad there. We are 18th and well off, just off the timing of that run. Could have been much better.
Welcome to the Magic City. We're here at the Miami International Autodrome, the home of the Hard Rock Stadium, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment hub which has hosted Super Bowls, Baseball World Series, numerous rock concerts, and of course, as of 2022, Formula One. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Fernando Alonso. Pierce, Behrman, Gasly, and Esteban Ocon. Doohan, Hulkenberg, Carlos Sainz, and Albon. Hadja, Stroll, Liam Lawson, and Yuki Tsunoda. Bortoletto, Piastri, Senna, and Victor Martins rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
Back on the line, the 5 red lights up, and they're out quickly. Okay start. Pinched to the wall by Piastri here. Go for a big lunge up the inside, try and gain some spots. We need to make moves and make them quick, considering where we started. Leave space on the inside. We'll be able to get it when it switches to the outside. Another spot gained. There's potential for a spot just ahead of us here. Although they're going to fan out 3 wide and it's going to get kind of ugly, I think. We use that opportunity to do a little bit of the fuel saving that needs to get done. A little bit of a move under braking there, huh, Alex? Kind of committed to go for that maneuver, and he had a little jink to the right. Luckily, we left plenty of margin that time. We're up into 15th after the first lap, so strong lap 1 to make some ground. Now we just got to keep picking our way through while also trying to maintain batteries. So that's going to be a fun pair of things to try and manage. Got a decent run. He's going to defend the inside. He had a little lockup, but I could tell he was going to get it slowed down still in time. He wasn't going to spear straight into us, so I was able to hold the outside line just fine. Oh, we had to lock up because, again, the AI loves to make that little shoulder check maneuver on the way into turn 1, it would appear. And make sure to leave plenty of space on the inside for Isaac. Got Doohan and Sainz ahead of us. The question is, where is P10? Where is the rest of the points? We got a bit of a margin to make up. We want to catch the Haas cars, which are the border of the points. And going side by side like this, lads, is not the way to do that. All you're doing is costing significant time to the cars ahead. This is going to be a big battery spend. We go. Unfortunately, that big battery spend did no good for us. Way up the inside, kind of an unorthodox spot. But yeah, 3 seconds now, the margin to the cars ahead. I'm probably going to get repassed pretty quickly when we hit the next DRS zone. What is going on? My rear tires cannot already be going off. Surely. Surely my rear tires cannot already be that bad. Like, that was a huge swapper. That cost me almost a second. Just hold the left side of the circuit. Duck into the slipstream because he's going to have that DRS. Let him pull us along. All right, into the pits for the first time. Slow stop does not help when we have to make two. So Behrman does undercut us by a margin. Sainz will probably get by us as well, which is not ideal, but he's on the faster tire at the moment. Okay, other cars are into the pit lane now. McLarens have stayed out kind of as expected. Here we go to the outside. We need to recover some battery. I think that might leave Behrman in kind of an attacking distance to us. We'll just have to see when we come out of the awkward corner. 7/10, it's close to attacking. I think we can shut off the battery usage at the moment. Here we go. On the power. He's got a pretty good launch off the corner. Not quite going to get him. Okay. Here's the gamble. We try and overcut him here. I hope he finds his way into some traffic or something. It looks like he is going to have a bit of traffic on his exit. Might be just a little far back from the car ahead of him on the mini-map to be getting DRS from him. So we'll see. We're in this lap. We are pushing with whatever I think these tires have left. Which I'll be honest, I don't think as much. Felt like a pretty good in lap. Let's see what the actual result ends up being. I think he got some DRS help. I think he's got what he needs to get ahead of me again. Let's see. It's a decent stop. He is going to go through. But only just. He's on the hards, we're on the mediums. Go around the outside of him as he's a little slow on picking up the entry. And the hunt for points is on here. around the outside of doing. All the extra grip is ours. Now we got clean air in front of us. Question is, how much ground can we? We're gonna need a little over 2 seconds a lap. Purple in the middle sector. We're pushing. Driver in front.
Joshua's ahead of you now. Time last lap, 1 minute 30.7. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 12.9 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Their tyres are 9 laps old.
Now, if he did a 130, we might be in trouble here. I did a 129. We are getting ready to start the final lap of the Miami Grand Prix. We made some headway on our teammate. We managed to clear Ocon and make a bit of a gap to him, but ultimately the gaps were just a bit too big and the medium tires performance fell off a bit too much to really challenge for points. You can see Gasly still 12.4 seconds ahead. We came out of the pits about 14 seconds back. So we got it to about 11, but then obviously things changed. Lando Norris looks like he's won again. We did have a hope of a late safety car when Carlos Sainz went out in the start of the third sector a few laps ago, but no safety car was called, did not bunch the field for us, so no late race luck in that regard for us to bunch the field and maybe take a crack at the points on the final lap. All in all, a P12 result on a weekend where we took the engine penalty is not bad. I mean, obviously we hope for better in Miami. The pace was there. We made some good ground, but ultimately, having to take the 2-stop because of tire wear does not do it justice. But across the line we go. But it is a pointless outing for the Booty Radio F1 team.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
It's time for our podium celebrations. And as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. He raises the trophy over his head. Lando Norris, head and shoulders above the rest today. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So no points for us in that one, but we don't lose a lot of ground, I don't think, to any of the teams we're necessarily fighting with. Alpine only scored the 1 point. Otherwise, the points were all amongst the top teams, and then Aston Martin grabbed a point as well. And Aston Martin's kind of down in the doldrums. Alpine, the 1 point doesn't make a huge difference. Williams is on just 1 point for the entire year, so a tough one for them. But let's take a look. Pace-wise, we were able to get down into the 29s on those medium tires, so we had good pace, but we had to do it on 2 stops. And you can see Antonelli about the only person that made that 2-stop viable, whereas like the McLaren guys came through on that 1 stop. I don't think we would have made the 1 stop work based on how the tires behaved in the sprint race. So we'll just get ready to move on to the next one and head back to the headquarters.
Good news. We've just completed the development of a part, and it's now ready for fitting. But be sure to check in at the Assign Upgrades screen when you get the chance.
All right. Got another big gap available to us. First, let me not make the mistake I usually make, which is if we have owner training points to spend. We do not. Okay. See? No harm, no foul. Rivalry intensifying. Ooh. Sponsor loyalty growing, though. And yeah, disappointing weekend. Not a big surprise there. Anything in R&D that we can do. Nothing in aero. Nothing in chassis. Nothing in powertrain. In durability. How's our developments? Looking nearly done with that diffuser upgrade. That's fantastic. We're actually getting close to a lot of upgrades in the aero, and we've even got some stuff coming down the pipeline for the powertrain. Lovely. You love to see it. All right. What's this? Oh, we raised the level of a facility. Or we improved the facility. What else we got? Yeah, let's do that. Still 2 of 2. Get both of those done before the next race, because we have some time. All right. Let's do aero morale. Personnel recruitment drive. Where we got? Aero development blitz. And it looks like only research blitz is available. We're not researching anything, really. Whatever. Want people doing something. Okay, personnel. Personnel. Yeah, let's get the talent discovery this week. And fan stuff. Advertising campaign, nice. And fan rating. All right, let's advance. Oh, you love all the completed developments. Oh, all successful
Chief,
developments.
we've got multiple
That's
parts out of
fantastic.
research. Don't forget to develop them. But we've got performance sitting on the table that we could be getting into the car.
So many upgrades completed. That's going to be big. Dual developments for that. Let's get all these developments cranking. We'll have another big upgrade package essentially coming right before Canada if they all hit. Same thing here. Let's get this ERS. So yeah, looking forward to Canada. Should be the big upgrade-a-palooza. Ooh, engine power development. Yeah, we typically just give Josh developments first, so that's what it's going to be. Facility improvements. More facility improving to be done. We got a 9-day research expansion. Durability breakthrough. I'm not as worried about it. Let's keep that going. Personnel still 2 of 2, 2 of 2. All right, so we got everything good and ready to go. Oh, before I leave, let's take a look at the development chart. We've got, what, Imola next, which is a track that we've typically struggled at, so we'll see how everybody else kind of bounces. Heading up, the rich get richer up at the top. I mean, Red Bull's taking a big step. Aston's taken a huge step, kind of just behind us now. Williams has moved up. Yep, should be an interesting one. This bottom of the top 10 is definitely starting to get a little dicey, and we are miles away from the performance of the top 4 teams, which takes up 8 of those 10 positions. But thank you all for joining me. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.